What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Unleashed Potential Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Haji, as always, alongside the boys, Mr. Jabbar, Mr. Hassan, Elmi. How you guys doing, man?
It's been a minute, eh?
2020, good to be back.
Oh, yeah, new year.
It's been a while since we caught up.
It has been a while.
How's 2019 closing up for you guys? I know we're pretty much a month into 2020, but this is the first time we're back recording again. So how was 2019 closed off in 2020 beginning for you guys?
I'm still in 2019, man.
You still in 2019?
February is 2019. January is always 2019.
Yeah.
February the new year starts.
That's when it kicks in.
Well, actually, the second week of February, because I'm on holiday the first week of February. So.
Oh yeah, you're lucky.
Yeah. What's not lucky? You went on a holiday not too long ago. I was stuck here. How's that lucky?
The last time I went on holiday, I didn't go on holiday since
you got married, bro. You got on a honeymoon.
A year and something ago.
That's all right. You're married. Are you saying it's not a holiday when you're married? Your wife is watching this because be careful.
What about you, Omar Hassan? Moving on.
That's a really good transition, man. I like that. 2019 was good for me, man. Usually we try and go somewhere towards like the end of the year and stuff like that. But this year, I don't know. It's just nothing panned out. So we just spent it mainly here in Perth. Yeah. And it was good, minus the heat. But yeah, overall it was really
too
good.
bad.
It wasn't too bad.
We had 1 week that was terrible.
It was like 41 degrees.
That was that 1 week, though.
Yeah, 1 week.
It was 1 week.
First couple of weeks of 2020, last couple of weeks was that.
But he's from New Zealand, though.
True.
40 degrees for him is like 8.
Yeah, I usually spend summer there where it's like 27 degrees or something, you know.
So he's also got the Sudanese heritage, so he should be able to cope with the heat.
Yeah, but you know what they say: the darker the shade, the hotter the burn.
But you know the thing about people from New Zealand? I got a few mates from New Zealand. They said when they first came to Australia, that's when they had to start using air conditioning. Yeah, they never knew what the hell.
A lot of people
in New Zealand, bro. In New Zealand, like low 20s, mid 20s.
27.
30 would be max, right?
27 would be like the peak kind of thing.
Fair enough. Whereas 30 is perfect for us. Anything above is when we 35 and above. I think for me.
It depends, humidity as well.
I'll tell you the truth. This year, I'm actually a lot better in terms of adjusting towards the heat. Yeah. Compared to the previous years. Yeah. Man, previous years, sometimes I'd be there with like a cold, wet towel on just my head because it's just so hot and I can't stand it. And
bro, you know, on that, I think nobody really truly adjusts to their weather. Like, I've got cousins that were born in Sweden and every year they're complaining about their winter. You'd think, okay, you've lived there for 20 years of your life. No,
but that's extreme, though. If it's on the extreme ends, everyone can complain. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're living somewhere it's constantly 35, 40 degrees, if you're living somewhere that's always freezing, it doesn't matter, you're going to complain. It's not decent weather.
I'm saying, like, adjust in the sense that it doesn't stop me from going out now. Yeah. Whereas previously, I'd be like, man, the weather's way too hot. I'm not going nowhere. I'm staying home, air conditioned. At best, maybe, you know, just after Asr or something.
I'm pretty sure you've been alright.
This summer, I don't care if it was like 30, 31, 35, 37. I'll be like, yeah, let's go do something, you know?
Yeah, but most people prefer heat, though, than the cold weather.
I heard the opposite.
I'm different. I think I'm different. I prefer the cold. You can do something about it.
Where are you going to go when it's cold and it's raining or snowing?
You got your bed.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good response.
How's 2019?
2019. I was still in my bed, bro. Yeah. Alhamdulillah, it was a good year, man.
Working for you still, as usual?
Same thing. Yeah, nothing's changed. Alhamdulillah, everything's good.
Bro, what do you mean? Yeah. You had big stuff in 2019, man. I know you don't want to get into the personal stuff, but you had some good achievements in 2019.
Alhamdulillah, bro. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, it's a big year for me, bro, but 2020, I'm still kind of 2019. The other week I was doing some formal papers, you know when you fill out these government papers. I was like, 2019. I was like, damn, okay, I got to scratch that out. They're like, oh no, you can't scratch it out. We're going to have a whole new application. I was like, fair enough.
I think a lot of people go through that, especially the first couple of days. You're writing, the first whatever. And then
but towards, what are we now?
But when's the last time you wrote a date down?
I write it quite often, bro.
Whether at work,
if you're at school and stuff, you pick it up quicker because you're always writing dates. But
that's the hardest adjustment, man, to be honest. But you know what's funny? Everybody pretty much, like when I say everybody, I mean like the viewers, the people that don't actually know us. They think we pretty much hang out like on a regular basis during holidays, whatever. As the four of us, you know. Yeah.
Sometimes,
we hang out sometimes, but
and it's not always like four together. Yeah. Me and you, I mean, we split around.
There's always one missing or two missing.
So that's why it's always good to have this podcast where we catch up.
Have you guys noticed how that has changed over the years? Like there was a time where we would see each other like 3-4 times a week.
What do you mean? Every day, man. I saw this guy every day.
Well, responsibilities.
That kicks in, right?
That kicks in.
No, what are you talking about? We were studying and working at the same time. This guy will rock up at my house. He doesn't call. He won't text. He'll just be like, I'm pretty sure Abdi's not studying or working today. He'll rock up to my house. My mum will wake me up. Be like, hey, Elmi's outside.
No, I get that. Look, study at work, you can pretty much shift it and reschedule, wherever you see fit. But if you've got a wife or you got a child,
that's different. That's different.
That's a brick wall. 100%. You can't adjust it.
And that's why, like, see, like you said, our viewers and listeners don't really see or hear this, but every time we get together to set up to record, like that's why it takes us
a long time.
About 40 minutes before we even start. Because like that's our catch up.
Yeah.
That's like, filling each other in. Especially like if one of us miss a podcast episode, then that's 2 weeks that you haven't seen the rest of it.
And that feels like forever. When you miss an episode and you come back, I haven't seen you guys in.
Inshallah, next week Jabbar's gonna be going on his trip, and then he won't be here. So then like that's 2 weeks with a trip in between.
Yeah.
So it's
that's
crazy.
True.
But alhamdulillah, 2019 for me has been blessed. Alhamdulillah. Normally, I always try to get a quick holiday, like you, get a quick trip in, try and fly out. And besides this year, it always used to happen because it was just me, my schedule, my choice of destination, and all that. But alhamdulillah, being married, you got to make adjustments, and
compromises,
and exactly. And the thing is, like, there's other trips planned, so then it was like, okay, well, I can't squeeze one in now. So this was the first year in a while that I actually spent the end of the year.
That's a big thing for you too. You always love to travel. You dip somewhere.
Traveling, but alhamdulillah, like it was different, and I got to spend time here. Guilty of sleeping in a lot of the days.
Back to your roots.
That's standard, man.
As those who know me,
that's standard.
But 2019 ended better than most years because I was able to check off a few big things that I really wanted to do. And I think it was the 1 year where I got most of the things I wanted done, alhamdulillah. And as you guys said, I'm not in 2019, but I'm not fully in 2020 yet. I don't know. I'm lost somewhere in between.
But
you're in the transition.
That's what it is. It's not like midnight hits and it's completely different vibes and different. You completely change who you are. No. It's a slow.
Exactly. And that's where I'm in right now. Like the first month, just trying to make sure that I do better. Every week, every day, just improving one thing. And that's my 2020 so far. I wanted to. You want to say something?
No, I'm thinking. I'm like, what would have been your biggest lesson or biggest takeaway from 2019?
My biggest lesson. Well, there's so many different aspects, so many different advice that I've received that are important from a lot of people, especially since I got married. Like, your dad wants to pass on some messages. Like one of the things I remember him instilling in me, like not instilling, but like really stressing to me was, inshallah, one day you're going to have kids, right? Be the father you want them to grow up to be, like be that person you want them to grow up to be. He was like, okay, look, you're young now, you're married. The first year, he's like, everybody thinks, okay, you know what? Just because I fulfill my responsibilities at home, I'm doing an amazing job. And he said, while that is true, this is the time where you now take on that responsibility to engage in a bit of community work, rock up to the mosque still, take on all these other little roles that will build you into the person that you want to be and your children to follow. You know what I mean? So he was like, look, you're married, alhamdulillah, but, come a bit more often around the mosque, come help out at the community centers, really build yourself to that person. He's like, look, I tried to do that with you when I was a kid. Show you that, any lecture or madrasa that I go to, bring you around. So that later on, when you asked me, Dad, I know we're Muslims, but why do we have to do all these things? That firstly, I'm not just somebody that's just telling you what to do. You've seen it in my actions, So from my dad, it was pretty much that. And then, there was just so many things. So many.
That's a lot. So many little lessons.
And some of them like are internal, where you look back at yourself and you're like, okay, well, alhamdulillah, I've turned a new chapter in my life. Well, for me, anyway, I've turned a new chapter in my life. I'm out of that single phase. what bad habits did I have as a single person that I don't want to carry on? Because if you don't leave them behind in that transition, in this change in your life, like that's it. It's gonna stick with you, you know. Especially if it's a habit that you're not happy with, and because of your persistence or hard-headedness, that your spouse now becomes okay with. Like that's not going anymore. It's staying with you forever. So I think that was a big thing for me. Like change all the things that I didn't want to bring over and fight those. Old habits die hard, but they will die even harder if your spouse is now okay with it. Yeah, but at some point, like when you get married, if there's something you don't like or you don't like about your spouse, that you will try as much to try and advise them and encourage them, right? But at some point you give up. Now when that person that was advising you gives up, it's just you now, and it's going to be very hard to give up. Yeah. I think that was another big one for me.
I think I seen you were talking about that, but you got married earlier. Yeah. It wasn't like towards the end of the year or the mid of the year. So you were like looking at those changes in those habits, 2018, and you're looking at it. And to me, from the outside, it was a routine you got into, because I know Haji before he got married and I know Haji after he got married, right? And I know all the stuff that you wanted to do, and I've seen you like putting it through. You know what I mean? And it is. And that, for me personally, I'm not sure about the advice you got, but the execution and the routine and the habits that you've gone through the year have shown.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. And like I said, that's some of the blessings I was able to see. Because there has been many a year where, you know, you're single and you're just like, okay, I want to do this. And then all of a sudden, you know, one mate comes up, hey, let's go for a trip. Now you were planning to save money, but then you're like, okay, well, I don't have anything to save money for. Let me go spend the money, you know. There has been many a year, but alhamdulillah, I was able to, through the added responsibility of my marriage, really, I think, take a different direction.
What about you guys? Yeah, what's a big lesson that you sort of learned in 2019 that you feel like, man, I'm going to benefit from it big time in 2020?
2019, there was a lot of lessons, my brother.
Yeah.
Plenty of lessons.
Just give us one. Main one.
What I can say, 2019 was a crack of a year. But the biggest lesson that I've learned is... what's the biggest lesson that I've learned?
I think I'll jump in while he thinks.
Give him time to think.
I'll give him time. I know this guy learned this. He's sifting through some Rolodex. It's a giant. For me in 2019, well, the lessons I've learned weren't really like advices, because I picked up a lot of advices, and I've been to so many weddings in 2019 where it's one of those, you hear all those advices. But for me, it was more of the lessons I picked up from the people I've been around. And the biggest lesson I picked up is just that connection with people. And the biggest one is, as a Somali community, all the people that were getting married, it's just different branches of families and stuff like that. And to me, networking, if I was to sum it up, would have been the biggest one. Just like making a friend that's part of the community, just the benefits that you get out of it without even realizing. Open doors, connections, just a friendship, guidance, you know what I mean? It was just like mind blowing. Like even now, like, cause I'm going on a trip. They were saying, oh, you watch a trip after, because this is just a 1 week kind of like an R&R, and I'm like, I'm going to plan on a bigger trip, and they're saying, where are you going to go? And I was listing places I'm going to go, and a lot of people are saying those are expensive places, but I'm like, no, I got friends there, I got family there, I got accommodation there, you know what I mean? Like I got hookups all there, and quite a few of them were made this year, and just by going out there and trying to connect to those people in our community. And that was probably the biggest lesson I learned. And since I picked that up in this year, if I'm focusing on that next year, or at least having that in my mind, like how much more doors can I open?
You know? That's a big one, man.
Yeah. Especially with the podcast. I got to put that one up too. The podcast has probably been, we've got that group chat. There's been advice and opinions and stuff that we've seen that were,
I love that group chat.
It was crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
So much knowledge and positivity just exchanged.
Yeah, and the fact that like you're not going through the same thing, or people have the same ideas of you as you do and stuff like that, and people have different, and you see that, so it's crazy.
What about you, Omar Hassan? Before we get to
Elmi, give us a bit more time.
You're ready, Elmi.
I'm still sifting, bro.
Processing.
I think the biggest lesson for me that I pretty much learned in 2019 is not to hold too many things in one hand, you know. I found myself in 2019 sort of like so eager and keen to just do so many things that I felt like, you know, I was able to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe I was able to do it, but I didn't pretty much realize the toll it might have on your your health, your family, or your time, your mental stress. I didn't realize all of that until sort of towards the end of 2019. I just, at some point, like at the end of 2019, I started feeling like, what's the point? Why am I doing all of these things, So then I went back to understanding why am I actually doing these things, and then started to take away this, that's not important, that's not important, that's not, And then, when I started thinking about some of the goals that I had for 2020, understanding exactly which things I truly wanted and which things truly made an impact in my life in like a positive way.
Yeah.
That really helped a lot, because that helped me sort of draw out a plan for 2020 in a way that made me realize this is what I need to focus on. Like now I know for a fact that in a day, if I don't do this, then I know it's going to affect me through this. Or in a week, if I don't at least contribute to my, towards this thing that I've considered to be a priority, then I know it's going to affect me in this way. Like I know exactly which things weigh me down, which things don't. Like, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
And sort of prioritize. And I know exactly how much room I have enough to be able to say, right, I can take on board this, or no, I can't. This is not the right time for me.
You filter through all the dead weight.
I've pretty much, filtered through all the dead weight. And the thing is, like, it wasn't dead weight that was coming, spontaneously. Yeah. It was me saying, I can do this. I want to do this. I want to do this, And it reached a point where I was like, why? Why don't I just focus on these 3 things or these 4 things that are very important to me?
Fundamentals.
Yeah, as the fundamentals. And then the outcome of that was the fact that these 4 things, once I started to get it into like a sort of routine, or I got it down pat, right? I started to build on it in the sense that like I've basically mastered it to the level where I know exactly how much time to contribute to each.
Yep.
I know exactly how much energy I need to contribute to each in order to actually fill up the tank in a way. For me to realize, for me to pretty much realize, okay, I'm not riding on E when it comes to my health. I'm not riding on E when it comes to
energy, focus.
Family time or whatever. Like these are not some of the things that are weighing me down because I haven't spent time with my family, or I haven't called my mom, or I haven't done all these things, So I sort of know exactly which things affect my life positively and which things, if I don't contribute to it, affect me negatively. And I don't know, that's basically sort of guided me to a way where I'm like, now I'm starting to focus. I'm not 100% focused. Like I don't know exactly like what I know the direction, I know the pathway, the head, you know what I mean? Like I'm getting there. I'm focusing it.
I think but you followed it in a bit more.
It's 3 lanes now. Exactly. 3 lanes to 2 lanes merging to 1 lane.
Exactly. I think that's.
Yeah, on that point, I know exactly how you feel, but I'm a bit similar to that in the sense that I'll pick up something thinking I can do it, and I might be able to do that extra work for a week or 2 weeks, and it's slowly draining you without you knowing it because you think you're on top of it. But then by a month or 2 later, you're drained. And you're like, but like, I could have done it before. You know what I mean? Like, I've done it before. I'm able to do it. So I should still be able to do that. So you keep on doing it, but you realize, no, I need to focus up. I need to like take some of these stuff that I grabbed out and put it up. Because sometimes I was doing the same thing. I had my schedule so tight that when I went on to the next thing, I was drained from the last thing. But I'm saying, oh no, this is important. I have to do it. I have to do it. But then when you go back and you're like, why do I take it out? I would go because I was able to do it, not realizing that it was slowly draining me out. I might have been able to do it for a day, a week, 2 weeks, but it's not something I can do consistently. And being able to stop yourself and going, look, take your pride aside. You're doing too much. Just focus up on a few. It's key.
Sometimes you add all these little, say, tasks or goals that you think will funnel into the big goal, and you think that without these little tasks, that you won't reach it. Whereas sometimes it's unnecessary.
It's just taking time away from the main task.
It's like sometimes it's like you think, all right, I want to build a house, but then before I build the house, I want to put in the pool and fix the front yard and everything else, right? And you're like, okay, well, maybe those things come after I actually built the house, So I think a lot of people might relate to what you guys have just gone through.
I think there's been plenty of time, Ohms.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm listening to what you said, bro.
All right, man.
Like 2019 has been, like a lot of things that's happened this year, good, bad, the hot, the cold, big, the small, alhamdulillah. But 2019, what I've learned from 2019 is the more like you're attached to the masajid, like you pray your more salahs in the masajid, and the more you're like attached to the deen and to Allah, you know, not only like reading Quran, but also like reading the meaning. Like for me, I don't understand Arabic. I don't know a few words. I swear, the less stress you have in your life. Like you see where I'm coming from? It's like you're running errands, but if you put the back of my mind, you know what? All right, first thing, let me go pray Dhuhr at the mosque or Asr or Maghrib. You see how less stressful, and like everything just becomes easy, bro. I don't know how to explain it, man. Like,
puts into perspective.
It does. But it does exactly what Hassan says. It focuses you up.
You know when you pray your salah, bro, like we're Muslims, you know, you feel like there's this burden lifting off
weight off your shoulders, bro.
Yeah. Like, you know, you're like, all right. You're like stressed. You're very mellow, man. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, the importance I've learned is like, as much time as you can, like, obviously we're all busy, try to pray salahs in the mosque, man. You, like, the reward, like, the way you feel, like, your heart, it's big, man. It helps you out a lot, bro. Actually, whether you're going through bad, whether you're going through good, like the closer you are to masajid, it helps you out a lot.
Both times, gratitude and praying for help.
Bro, that's like an alarm as well. Because if you're picking up a lot of stuff and you're finding it hard to fit in your prayers, it's one of those things where you're gonna be like, look, focus up. Because that's what religion does. It focuses you on what's important in this world. So when you're close to God, everything else becomes easy.
When you say assalamu alaikum, you think like whatever you were stressing out before, you're like, bro,
it's not that big of a deal.
It's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, it's you say that like I say to myself, alhamdulillah, I'm in the mosque at least. All right, that's good. That's a decent start. Then I'm like, you know what? They can all sack all of them, bro. Like, don't worry about it, man. Like,
it gives you that sense of importance. What is important?
What's important? You realize what's important, bro, and you realize what we're on this earth as Muslims, man. And you're like, what I was worrying before I've got things I have to worry about in the akhirah. I have to worry about in this dunya, bro. You know what I mean, man?
I agree with you deeply, because once you engage, whether it's salah, whether it's fasting, whatever it is, once you engage in a religious act, you know, as an act of worship, the first thing that comes into your mind is, this life is temporary, this world is temporary, right? So then what does that mean? Since this is temporary, well, everything is temporary, nothing's permanent, right? So then you're like, okay, well, for me anyway, I look at it, let's say there's a problem, whether it's a financial issue, you know, a bill you haven't paid, something you were meant to do, an appointment that you were meant to go to that you didn't go to, whether you're studying an assignment that you're supposed to hand in that you didn't. You think about it, okay, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now, when I look back at it, am I still going to stress about it? If the answer is yes, then that's a very big issue, right? So then it's health, it's something deep, right? But then 9 out of 10 times, if the answer is in 3 weeks, I'm not going to really worry about it. And if it's something somebody said about me, or, you know, that I lost $50, you don't want to worry about it 3 weeks later. So why worry about it now? Just let it go, right?
Is, helps out a lot.
That's what salah and everything gives you. First, it puts everything into perspective. You know what I mean?
You're right, Wallah. And the thing that helps out a lot, you know, when you go to Jum'ah on Friday and you finish Jum'ah,
the community,
you know, the khutbah that you get, the talk, it really hits you, it sinks you. Imagine getting that every day. Like, generally the masajids, like around Perth,
they give a little talk afterwards.
Generally after Asr, after Maghrib, where most people are there, you know, they give little khutbahs, bro, little muhadaras, you know, and it hits you, bro. When I watch on YouTube, it hits me. But for me, I'm more of a physical person, you know.
Does it happen to you that sometimes the topic is actually what you're worried about?
It's sometimes, like, it's perfect, exactly what you're...
Every now and then,
every now and then. Rock up to
every now and then.
There's a little lesson going on, and they're talking about, okay, for example, the importance of family relations. You know, you probably just had a fight with your brother, and you're like, I'm not going to talk to you for the next 3 years. You know? But then that talk, subhanAllah, fate, whatever it may be, is about family relations. It makes you think. Now, you wouldn't have got that if you didn't go to the mosque, right? And a friend might tell you, yo, you know, like, that's your brother or not, but you're like, all right, because it's my brother, I can tell him to piss off, kind of thing. But then you hear it differently, and you see the effects that it has, and then you just go back and the first thing you might say to your brother is, yo, what's good? You know, like, we're good, you know? So Allah, it's ajib.
And bro, it's like, to experience it, like, I'm still, like, I don't pray all my salahs, bro. I'm not perfect, you know? But when you're in that environment and you're around people that always worried about like, you know, always learning about deen, you think about life, bro, and you realize why we are on this earth for, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
to worship Allah.
Like I've had, like, I don't mention names, like, but my mates and stuff. I said, bro, let's go to the mosque. a lot of people see it as like, if you go to the mosque now, you're like the religious subset, bro, but you don't know the effects it can have, the positive effects it can have in your life, bro. The people, bro, it's amazing, man. You know what I mean, bro?
If you take it one step further, rather than the salahs and going to the mosque, if you look at the hadith as well, it's a way of life. So that kind of puts in perspective your amanah to things that you need to be focusing on, your family, your relations, and then that kind of makes it easier to focus not just on what's going on afterwards, the akhirah. It's how to deal with today.
Worldly issues as well.
The world issues. That's what people forget. A lot of people think, oh yeah, but that's the akhirah. Yes, I know it's important, but that's for later. My problem now. It's like, no, that solves all your problems now as well. So it's,
lately I've been looking at some self-help kind of like books or articles or podcasts and YouTube videos and stuff. Like I would look at ways to sort of improve myself. And wallahi, I guarantee you, each and every single person that gives you some sort of advice from these self-help books, podcasts, videos, whatever, I guarantee you can link it to salah. I guarantee you. Whether it's making sure you wake up early, you can link it to salah. Whether it's making sure you have some sort of routine, you can link it to salah. Discipline, link it to salah.
Community.
Time, link it to salah. The community thing, having a network, you can link it to salah. Wallahi, each and everything, being grateful.
Also meditation.
The way you start the salah. Everything. Self-assessing. At the end of the salah, you have to say astaghfirullah. Why? You're reflecting back on your salah. Each and everything, I guarantee you can link it back to salah. The problem is we don't look deep enough into why we pray. Like there's the surface reason which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us. Inna salat tanha 'anil fahsha wal munkar. The salah basically restricts you from actually, or discourages you from going to the the evil and the embarrassing things, right? But when you try and scratch that surface and dig deeper and try and understand what is the impact that it has on you, man, you just sit there in awe. Literally, one time I sat down and just made a list of all the benefits that I can get from salah, just from my mind. Just half an hour, I came up with 50 things. All those 50 things, all of these non-Muslims are saying you should do.
And it all fits in with the one thing that we've been prescribed.
With the one thing we've been prescribed. But the problem is, we don't take the advice of our Prophet ﷺ or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We take the advice of these people. And so it made me question. So it comes back to, the whole prioritizing and sifting through that. And made me question, why am I doing all of these things when I can get the same benefit from this one thing? So what's more important to me? I had to sift it back down.
It's true. A lot of people try finding these things in other areas when it's simple as just praying your salah.
But it also like, see, right now you found it through this method, right? But then, especially to young kids and teenagers, and as the ages go up, the way it's taught as well, it's not taught in that method. It's taught as in, it's
a must. You do it. That's it.
Regardless.
Yeah, they teach the ritual side.
The ritual side and the bad that happens if you don't do it.
Yeah. The fact that it's a sin if you don't do pray.
Like, like your parents are gonna be mad. Firstly, like, okay, well, it's a sin. It's the first thing you're questioned about. Right. So there's all this emphasis on what happens if you don't do it. But
also it's kids don't really think about the future. They don't really think about things to ahead. So the benefits is always things that are later. You'll get this in the akhirah. You get this in the afterlife. You get this and that. But they never really talk about the benefits of salah, like you said, in the dunya. They don't really do that. Not as much though. You do hear it here and there.
The thing is, like even the adhan, where the muadhin says, "Hayya ala al-falah," come to success, right?
It's equated.
But the thing is, it doesn't say come to success in the afterlife. It doesn't specify come to success in the dunya. It doesn't specify where. It's success.
Wherever.
Success, and it doesn't specify where success. Come to success in your salah. Come to success in your marriage. It doesn't specify. It's open.
Success,
It's open to the dunya, and it's open even within the dunya. It's open to all kinds of categories because it's literally all encompassing. Like you want success in your marriage, or you want success in your business, or you want success, come to salah first. The problem is we don't link it to these things, which a lot of people, even though they focus on the dunya, you can refocus them so that they're focusing on the akhirah, but implementing it in the dunya, through the deen. So I think we just need to refocus and make the people sort of understand.
Bro, you see it, bro. You see in the people, like, because, like, you know, when you go to Jama, you go to Salah, you talk to the brother that's there five every day, 7 days a week, 5 prayers. Yeah. You know, he's there. You see his mindset. You see his mindset, and you compare it to another brother that's doing whatever business, or it's 2 different mindsets, bro. Yeah. And when you talk to him, you see how you see how calm he is, man. You know, just
to me the biggest is
very calm, collective, just worried about one thing, bro. Yeah. No stress whatsoever, brother. Yeah. This guy, mashallah, is shining too, bro. You know, it's like
I've noticed that.
It's ajib, bro. Yeah. It's ajib. And then you talk to Alba, you see, he's doing this, doing that, but you see his worries, his stress, distraction. Distraction, and you see how cool, calm, collected the other brother is. You know,
may Allah make us of those that are calm and perfect their salah. Because as the Prophet ﷺ says, you know, in the Day of Judgment as well, leading to that, like, if your salah is perfect, then everything else will fall into place. Whereas if your salah isn't, then everything else will.
And that doesn't mean if you did your salah perfectly and you messed up everything else, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that. It means if you did your salah perfectly,
it leads you to.
And brother, one other lesson I've learned in 2019.
Pull out that roller dice.
Here we go.
I just remember, bro. I swear, I don't know if it's just me or for other people, but you can't mix, like for me, you can't mix music and Quran, bro. Like, you see what I'm saying? I'm struggling, bro, to give up music. I love my music, bro. Astaghfirullah, bro. You know me, once the music comes on, bro, you know, Jabbar, man, I love to dance, bro. But the thing is, it's like, alright, I'm going home, I'm coming here, I'm listening to music, bro, I'm bumping it, I'm cruising on the freeway. Then I go home, I'm listening to Quran.
In the house?
Like, I'm going home, back home, I'm listening to Quran. Like, I'm giving you an example. Like, it doesn't hit me, like, you know what I mean? I feel guilty, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But the weeks that I stop music, I feel the Quran more, like, and if you understand the meaning, like, I don't know if it's just me.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
The drive, absolutely. Nobody intentionally pulls out headphones and then starts listening to it while sitting in their room. You know, there's only like a few that might do that, but the greater majority is the drive. See, the thing is, like, the first week or 2 weeks, the Quran might actually feel a bit, I don't even want to say this, like, it's a bit difficult to adjust to if you're coming from music.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you're like, I already listened to half an hour of Quran. Yeah. That's some ajr, you know, alhamdulillah.
Yeah. So I can deal with a bit
I can deal with a bit of music. The problem is when you do that, even though the ajr is there, like, you cancel out the progress you made.
Yeah.
If you keep it going to the point where you're like, man, I'm not even missing out on music.
Yeah.
Like, people will actually approach you and say, yo, I've got, have you heard this? And you're actually amazed at the fact that you can say, no, I haven't heard of it.
That's been me for years.
You know, like, and it leads to other things. You're like, the Quran that you've been listening to now is not enough.
Yeah.
You want to hear lectures.
Yeah.
And even these lectures are not enough. Now you want to hear like some actual classes that dive deep into some of the lessons.
Yeah.
And then when you hear those, you're like, where have I been hiding? Yeah. Like, I thought I knew Islam, or I thought I knew the deen properly, but...
Because one, when you're driving, you've got that time where you're concentrating, but you're also not concentrating, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, firstly, if you sit down at home, you put on a lecture, you jump on your phone, right? So then that leads to something else, you turn off the lecture or whatnot. When it comes to music, alhamdulillah, me, firstly, I've never been able
Mashallah,
to, first of all, you know, like you see people where they listen to a song 2-3 times and then they'll give you the whole song off the top.
Yeah.
So
you've never memorized lyrics?
I've actually tried to memorize lyrics.
You can't memorize.
I've actually taken time out. Wallahi, laugh all you want. I've actually taken time.
The image of you sitting there trying to learn a song?
I said, listen.
I don't see it, man.
I said, listen, wallahi.
I don't see it.
Come on, man. Everybody knows.
Nah, it's legit.
Dear mama or something, man.
I would know a few words here and there. Yeah. I would know how the beat goes. But wallahi, if you had to give me money today and say, Haji, sing this song or this rap or whatnot, I cannot do it. But I'll read a page and I'll be able to tell you, I think, a good 70% of what that page said. Alhamdulillah, like...
right. Okay, so you're not auditory.
I can memorize shit.
Yeah.
I can memorize things. But when it comes to music, I just can't.
Yeah.
And then that firstly turned me off music in general. Like, now you got all these songs and all these artists coming up and whatnot. And people are like, oh, did you hear this song? Did you hear this? And I'm like, no, I don't. Music, for me, alhamdulillah, I don't even know what it is. It doesn't appeal to me anymore. Like, yeah, every now and then, like, you know, if the boys get together and they put a Somali song, for example.
Oh, you know your Somali music. Come on now. Come on now.
You see, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people will say, you know.
I can understand it firstly. I can understand English too, right? But the Somali...
I know it hits you different, right?
No, but I don't... Same thing. I can't memorize it. I can't memorize them. I don't know the song.
Enough.
You know what I mean? So for that, I've been the same with all kinds of music.
To me, music
the
is...
struggle, sorry to cut you. The struggle wasn't always whether to memorize it or not. I think the struggle that me and Elmi are talking about is the fact that you leave it. And alhamdulillah, now I'm at the point where even when I'm driving, I don't know, like I yearn for it. Like I rush to just listen to it. I'm like, it's that level now, you know?
You guys can bump to it. You guys
not music. I'm talking about Quran. I'm saying Quran or lectures, you know?
I probably know all the songs, right? So he can bump to it. Me, that has stopped me from, like, if I'm like, okay, you know what? When a song comes on, I'll get the chorus.
You know what it is?
But I'm like, you know what?
Bro, astaghfirullah, bro. You know what it is?
That's the thing. You get bored of it, right? You get bored of it and you switch it off. What I'm saying is the Quran or these lectures that I listen to, as long as it hits a level where you basically are understanding it and you know what's happening and you're learning and you're gaining knowledge from it, as long as it hits that level, you will literally be like, man, I found myself, wallahi, I was listening to this lecture. It got so deep and interesting. I found myself sitting in the garage.
Parked up.
I've had that. I'm like, I just want to finish this. There's like 15 minutes left. I'm like, and then it got too hot in the garage. I'm like, nah, man, I'll continue tomorrow.
Exactly.
But the thing is, bro, one thing I wanted to, sorry to cut you boys off. For me, when the music comes on, it's the vibe, bro. I don't know what it is. It's shaitan. I don't know what it is, bro.
I know exactly what you
mean. It just changes your mood.
But to me, what switched?
I'm listening to Tupac. I want to go do thug life things, man. Like, you know what I mean, man? You see what I'm saying? I'm listening to
follow. Just I don't want to say it right now too much, but Sydney, Range Rover.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand you.
But the thing is, bro, and then I listen to Quran. Oh yes, all right. If you quiet, trying to understand what he says, you understand the meaning, said that.
It makes you
comfortable, bro. Then I'm like, yo, man, this drive is getting a little bit boring, man. You know, like, and bro, you should see my Spotify. I cancel it. I resubscribe. I cancel it. I resubscribe. It's like
it's battle. It's an ongoing battle,
man. Inshallah, one day I'll give it up. Inshallah. But the thing is, it's ajib, bro. It's the shaitan just gets hold of you, man. The whole vibe just changes, bro. You're the most happiest person, bro, when you listen to music, bro.
But what about when
I think what it is you have, first of all, when it comes to Quran, everybody sort of stays listening to that Quran as long as it's a qari that they like, they enjoy, they want to hear more of that voice. SubhanAllah, this is how beautiful it is. It's the sense that there's a certain person, like for me it was Saad al-Qamdi at one point in time, you know, where his voice was just
something else.
I could just listen to it all day, you know. Now I've diversified and I'm like, oh, okay, I like this, I like that, you know.
Do you also get to that point where, like, depending on what you're doing as well, there's certain qaris you can...
Absolutely.
So, like, depending on what you do, like...
Absolutely.
Like, there's... For me, like, I've got the bedtime qari, I've got, like, the day where I'm, like, busy and productive. And then there's the relaxed qari. So, like, there's all... God.
I think
no, absolutely. So, I'm saying, like, the reason why it may seem boring is because you haven't found that level where you're listening to a qari that you actually enjoy to the level where you feel like you're understanding.
I've got a favorite, Abubakar Shatri, bro. He's my favorite. I love listening to that qari. Like, it's just, it's the shaitan, bro.
But here's the thing.
Abubakar Shatri, he's a qari that reads very slow and mellow.
I love that, bro.
Yeah, but then you want something, like, you want that vibe.
Yes.
Music's got a bump vibe. So you need to find the qari that's got a bit more fast-paced and vigor.
Yeah, possible.
You do.
But not even that.
I can't be listening to
No, we're not asking you to. You know what I'm saying? Okay, look. If it's not Quran, some people, they make the transition from music to nasheed. And then from nasheed to Quran. From Quran to other lectures, you know? And to help them stay in it, you know? So maybe you just need to...
I think my advice...
I'm driving with you. I think lectures
will be better.
Is what gets
the reason why I think though is because
we've driven with him quite a few times and we're like, yo, let's put on this lecture.
And it's different. He'll
to the point where like I'd pause it because I'd get a notification.
Put it back on.
Put it back on. What's going on?
I think that's what it is.
I think it's you understand the songs. It's in English. You know what they mean. You know, you get the vibe. But when it comes to the Quran, you might be enjoying the feel of it and the sound of it, but you don't know what the definition is. So for me, and it's the same with me. I started with lectures. So I went off music with actually books first, audio books. And then I went from audio books to lectures. And then I went from lectures to reading the Quran. And I'll flip between the two. And it was because of that. Once I started reading lectures and I started understanding the meaning, the stories for each surah and stuff like that. When I'm reading it or I'm listening to it, it hits me. You know, I can think of the story as it's going through and stuff like that. And I'm way more focused. But if I try to...
You're actually right, because when I'm with my mother, you know, because she understands Arabic, we're driving, I pause it, I say, what do you say? And she'll explain it to me. So it's all you're actually right, bro.
See, I can imagine you speak Arabic. Alhamdulillah, like I can understand the Quran. It's different from what you speak Arabic. So for me, before I actually learned the translation, Quran was just Arabic.
You could read it, you could write it, but that's it.
You know? And then I started to read these stories, and you get to the point where, you know, like where some of these great prophets and great incidents and great things happen, and then in each surah, like the same story but different aspects are highlighted, and then you just lose yourself in that thought. It's like when somebody's telling you a story and you can picture it in the back of your head, kind of thing. And like, so the drive, that 20-minute drive is like, yo, how do I get to my place? Like, I'm already home, you know, kind of thing.
Done.
And
whereas if you don't understand what it is, I can understand what you mean. Like, it's just from that vibe where you understood word for word and bumping, and because music is that too. You know, like depending on
your could be a story, it could be
whatever it is, and you'll connect to it. You know what I mean? It's not just the music or the beats itself that people gravitate to. So I think for you, man, from what me and Jabbar have seen riding with you, I think lectures would be key. And
where's my phone? Let me delete my Spotify.
I think a good start would be a good start for you. My recommendation now, and for anybody that wants to start, would be a sheikh called Omer Suleiman. One of my favorite sheikhs.
Absolutely.
And we had a chat about this actually quite some time back. You'll gain the same knowledge, but what he does is he puts it in today's context. So he'll take a hadith that came 1400 years ago in a time where nothing then is the same as now, but he will show you how that is still relevant. Or like the ayahs of the Quran that came 1400 years ago, how it's still relevant and applies to today, and it will apply to in the future because time is changing, you know. And one of the greatest facts that I think he mentioned when he was giving the story of Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Abu Shafi'ah, how they became fuqaha. Fiqh is I think the law, the Islamic law, and how to differentiate the rulings, right? And his first key was the scholar of that time should be I think what he said was he should be with the times.
You should be able to
so it can't be a scholar that has the mindset of
the previous
past, you know. So like,
because it doesn't benefit
exactly.
That.
So the scholar of the
Makes
time
sense.
should be with the time they're in, because as society changes, this Quran is sent to us as Allah's word and guidance for all humanity until the end of time, right?
It's one of his miracles,
so regardless of what time you're in, the Quran is still relevant, but then it requires the right kind of passage for it to reach from the scholars to us. You know what I mean? So like if today we have a scholar that's 90 years old but tries to give us the rulings of 90 years ago as opposed to today and what's happening today, it'll be very different, you know. So Omer Suleiman, not only just fiqh but history, the seerah, everything. It's just
I listen to his stuff, and mashallah, it's pretty good, man.
I'll definitely once
you've listened to quite a few lectures, inshallah, in a couple of episodes, I'll give you guys, I think, the next step up. But for a beginner, Omer Suleiman is the perfect
start with that. And you know, the thing is, you don't have to delete your Spotify, man.
Yeah,
you can look them up there as well.
And you can find us there too, man.
Oh, that's controversial, but
no, it's not. The thing is,
very dangerous, bro. Very dangerous. No, I have to delete it, bro. It's just more of an OCD thing. I have to get rid of it. have
If
to
that's
delete
your way,
it
do it.
to make sure that I focus on the Quran, you know?
Inshallah, man.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
That's why even you guys always told me upgrade your phone, upgrade this.
He's
Bro,
worried about
I can upgrade my phone. No worries, bro. Easy, alhamdulillah. But the thing
he's in a
is,
struggle.
He doesn't know what it is if it's 2 megapixels.
I can
Like
just
2 pixels.
if I get a rubbish phone, like a $50 Nokia brick phone,
Yeah.
I know that
It limits you.
It limits me, like, you know, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, if you guys understand what I'm coming from, you know?
Mashallah.
Yeah, bro, yeah.
And what I'll do is every couple of days or once a week, I'll send you a link to a video.
I appreciate it, man.
Inshallah, we'll talk about it.
Inshallah, yeah.
So what? You're gonna sell that phone and get a Nokia?
Okay, my phone's cracked. My screen's cracked, man. I can't sell nothing,
He's
bro.
gonna get one with an antenna that you pull up.
Antenna, yeah.
One of them.
1 second, yeah.
That's
Pull it
it.
out from
Bro, I'll make that sacrifice just to stop music, but inshallah, one day, right now, I'm a bit struggling, but inshallah, may Allah make it easy for me, bro.
Inshallah. And see,
Make it easy for all of us,
that's
bro.
That's what
Yeah.
the sport initiative is about.
Yeah.
Not for us just to put content out there, but to have these discussions.
Yeah.
And
benefit
really
us too,
benefit
man.
us as well, so that, you know, along with our viewers, we grow and we
100%,
become better. So
100%,
inshallah, whenever a topic of music and that comes up,
The
inshallah,
day, you know, I don't.
I think I'm gonna be in the hot seat.
Yeah, we'll ask him. How's your
Hey, the day I don't open Snapchat, the WhatsApp group, all that, this should be alright. Elmi downgraded. He got rid of his iPhone, he got a brick phone.
Inshallah. Well, but there's always other avenues to listen to music. But first step for you is
If I got a
That's
brick
the
phone
easiest,
with literally no camera, no just menu or call, message, that's it.
that solves the driving issue. But when you're at home,
I don't,
It doesn't do it,
bro,
though.
I don't listen
That's
to,
the thing with
I don't
Elmi.
go out of my way to listen to music.
it's just the drive.
Just in the car.
Yeah. So if
You know what? I'm getting bored, man. Let me
That's what it
put
is.
this on, yeah?
Just
I had
silent.
I had
You know
it
what I mean?
worse, man. It was in the car. It was
Yeah.
in the gym.
Yeah.
It was
The gym
literally
was the
like
one, yeah.
at work sometimes because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to a certain person.
Yeah.
You know, I just put on my headphones. I just started realizing that okay, at work I can listen to this and it still won't distract me from working.
That's a key.
That's
That's
the-
another
Yeah.
key point.
At the gym, I can listen to this without feeling like I'm unmotivated. From
Yeah, it's not
actually
putting you
pumping.
down.
It's not putting me down.
It's an upper.
On the drive, you know, I can listen to this.
Whatever
where
your
actually-
mood is.
I'll tell you a story. There was one time I went for music for a while, for a long time, bro. I'm talking like a couple months. And that's very big for me.
Yeah.
I was coming home, I pulled up in the driveway, mom's house. I was cranking it, bro, with the subwoofer going off. But normally when I go home, I turn the music down so my mom can't hear it, or my, you know, the family can't hear it. I was in the zone, bro. I was in the zone.
Love that.
As soon as I stepped in the door, mom was like, "What is this garbage you're listening to?" She said, "What if the time that Malcolm Maut comes to you while you're driving, you listen to that music, you get into accident, bro. Like, you know, like you're gonna be resurrected."
Yeah.
Listening to Tupac or whatever, then it hit me, bro. Actually hit me. I stopped it for a while. I did my sport for a couple months. Then
Then you came back, huh?
shutdown came back, bro. You know,
That's a tough thing, you know, and
I've
that's the thing.
seen,
Like,
yeah,
you go
bro.
up and down with.
I've seen Elmi, me and Elmi, you know, we were into cars, so there's been times where we're going pretty quick, you know, and he'll be like, "Nah, I can't be playing music right now." And he turns around, I can't be playing
it's
music
true
right
story,
now.
man. Bro, we were going like, I'm talking like close to 300 k's, man.
And it's like, "No, I can't be
On the
playing
freeway.
music."
Like, alhamdulillah, we're grown up a lot mature now.
But yeah, like if I go,
Alhamdulillah, I had the conscience, bro. I said, you know what, if I go, I don't be going to listen to music, bro. Let me turn this rubbish off. Yeah. I swear, man. That's true story. Yeah.
we'll close off with this one story I have. Like back when I just used to play music and whatnot. My dad, music is no go in the house anyway. Like music is no go. So I remember he came to visit in Sydney, and this is when I had my brand new Mazda and whatnot. So yeah, we'd crack up music or whatnot. But every time that week that he was here, before he takes the car, what I'll do is I'll turn off the music. Yeah, I'll turn off the music or whatnot. But this one time he woke me up I didn't turn it down, so the volume's still loud. But I thought, okay, if he takes the car, my phone's not connected, nothing's gonna play. But then he said, we'll go on Fajr in the morning. He gets in the car, turns the car on.
Boom. That's a classic one,
I
bro.
was shook in the seat for about a good 5 seconds.
Yeah.
When we managed to turn it off, he looked at me. He just looked at me, and I didn't know what to say, and he didn't know what to say.
Oh, that's hilarious.
We just drove to the mosque. I deleted my phone off the computer for the rest of the day. That was crazy.
That was the moment that
was-
Abdullahi
yeah.
Haji knew that he
He just looked at me, just like
That look, one look, shut him down.
you little devil. Like just that look, because my dad, like for him, like because in our household, like we'd be watching a movie, and if he'd come in and like in the movie they play music or whatnot. Like when we were young, I'm talking about when we were young. I could be like, why are you guys watching this? What benefit is there for you? Like that, you know, like so. And the guy used to always be quiet, but then it was just that feeling like, so you do listen to music, but you're trying to hide it from me. But this time, and the fact that it scared him and like, I'm dying on the inside, I don't want to laugh. It was just too much. But mashallah, man, that was a pretty fun conversation. Alhamdulillah, with a lot of knowledge and facts exchanged.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming back. Alhamdulillah, it's good to be back. Weekly. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and you know we appreciate your views, your listens, your support. Inshallah, continue supporting us. That's how we grow, and we would love all your feedback, both positive and negative. At the end of the day, that's what we use, inshallah, to benefit us and help us grow. So inshallah, catch you guys next time.